But I feel like all sports at an elite level have an extraordinary amount of dedication. It's not exclusive to soccer. I just happen to prefer soccer over other sports because, except for the United States, the rest of the world also seems to prefer that sport. It's the world sport, except in
Sorry,
the
the
US. Why is soccer not as popular in the US as it is in the rest of the world? Like, well, America in the United States, you have like all these sports that have hundreds of points, and there are no such thing as ties. You can't really tie
I
in
think
most
that
American sports because you go into overtime until you break the tie. And the most important thing of them all, I think,
I
might
think I know
be
what you're gonna say.
it's the commercial spaces.
Yeah, I knew it.
Because soccer is not a game that
You
stops.
guys
It keeps
are
going, keeps
very
going.
smart.
In the
Smart
USA,
businessmen. I don't know where you
exactly.
guys get that
It's
from.
yeah, right. It only makes sense that in a capitalist society, you get a sport that you can plug a bunch of commercials, which then pay for the sport and pay
And
people's wages.
that's why I could never get into. And I might get haters for this.
Just for that.
So when I was an exchange student, when I first came to the U.S., my host family took me to a baseball game in Milwaukee. I went to Miller Park to watch Brewers against the Cubs. It was a great experience. I loved it. We barbecued in the parking lot before the game, but we were there for so long. The game was like 3-4 hours long. I don't even know.
It's an experience.
Yeah, but it was so boring to me. I was used to soccer, like it's a different dynamic, like it's a much faster pace, and they had so many breaks.
Yeah.
And the same song with bam, 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 ba-da-da-da-ba-dam,
Yeah.
and then the mascot will come out and cheer everybody up. But at some point, I'm just like, okay, when is this done? This is so long. It's like, what
It's
are we
kind
doing
of
here?
It feels like it's a sport.
And I guess I didn't really understand the rules of the game too, which made
Right.
it more boring for me.
Well, I asked for the rules when I went. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
what's happening? It's
I mean,
like,
yeah,
"Ooh, what's this mean?"
I probably asked too, but it didn't make a difference. I thought it was just too long and too boring.
Right.
So yeah, so that makes sense.
I mean,
I don't know if that was done on purpose or not.
right. Well, I feel like baseball is kind of like an experience. You go to spend the afternoon. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, you're gonna go to the park. You're gonna watch a movie. No, just go to the baseball game.
Yeah.
Then you go and you have some overpriced beer, have some overpriced hot dogs. It's like, and then all of a sudden you hear something. It's like, oh, something happened. Let's look at the field again. And then maybe you're one of the people that happened to be watching the play when it was happening, or maybe like the score is really like close, but it's one of these games that doesn't have an end time, so you have to go through all the innings before
It's a whole event.
the game
I'd
is
say.
done. So it's just like I'm just gonna chill and just spend a fun afternoon, which is part sport, part
Yeah,
just
that's why
hang.
everybody gathers in the parking lot.
Yeah.
They barbecue,
Yeah.
drink some beers,
Yeah.
eat some barbecue, and then go to the game. Keep drinking, keep eating during the game, and then there's the mascot. There's someone that sings the national anthem. There's a halftime show, whatever. Like it's a whole event. It's a whole experience.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
I feel like
know?
basketball is probably the most intense of the sports because you keep scoring, and
I-
the points, the
but see,
combined points go into like 200 points,
Yeah.
right? And then American football,
How many court? It's four.
4 quarters,
4
2
quarters,
halves,
right?
4 quarters,
So
and then you have American football, which has like these intense moments followed by breaks because they always reset the play as soon as the player goes down,
Yeah.
and then baseball is kind of like the let it go, and they one of the highest paid athletes. Like there's so much money in baseball. Every player that makes it into major leagues are millionaires.
yeah.
And from the outside, me having never played the sport, it feels like it's an easy gig, but it cannot be an easy gig. And in fact, they say it's like one of the fastest reaction times of all the sports. You have to make a decision in a split second, and then you only have,
It's
you have to have
insane.
cat-like reflexes. And I would love to go to a driving range, a batting range, just to feel like what's like a super fast ball. It's like, oh, okay, respect, because that's one of the things. Like sometimes we watch.
I've tried
the
pitching
Olympics
before.
Yeah,
Yeah, I did pretty good actually.
but how fast did you?
I'm
pitch,
pretty
though?
accurate, But well, I didn't.
Because
I don't know,
that's the thing. Like
compare to what, you know,
compared to like apparently there's like
to a layman that never done it before. Yeah, I think I did pretty good.
yeah, you got
I
like
mean, I was
a
able
solid
to
40 mile per hour.
I was
Per
able to hit the
hour.
target many
Okay.
times in a row. But of course, there's a technique to it.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't really get a hang of the technique, but there's like a.
You didn't master it. If you don't master it at first try, you just probably should quit.
But I
That's my
think it's
motto in
insane,
life.
like the way they do like a spinning throw, or how do you call that? Like a spinning ball.
Yeah, curveball. You have
Curveball,
curveball.
yeah.
You got a straight ball. You got a fast ball. You got a this, that, and the other.
It's
You know.
insane.
I hear that it's there's an interesting concept in baseball that there's like a physical limit to the amount of torque that you can generate with your own body.
Right.
And so there's like a cap to the fastball, and the fastball is like 105 miles per hour. And as a human being, you only have X amount of throws that put so much stress in your joints and your ligaments before they break down. And there's like this really, really common surgery that pitchers have because like I have like, imagine like in your career you have like 50 or 100 fastballs, and this is a random number just for sake of argument. After that you put so much stress, you're literally throwing your arm off your body, and then you're gonna rip some ligaments, and then you have to have surgery to
That's
to
insane,
fix
dude.
that. And so you have, if you only have 100 throws like that, you can't just do the first 100 and then you're like injured for
It's fascinating.
career.
Human
Yeah.
beings just going above and beyond for the sake of a game.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's fascinating.
Right.
And
But
we are
there's so much
always
money. Like,
finding.
sure.
Well, but
I'll
I
give
mean,
out my arm for like $100 million a year.
no, I don't think that's the main motivation, though.
It's not.
I
But
don't
it's a
think
good
that's-
bonus.
That would be sad if that was the main motivation. And I think whoever thinks that, it's just like, I don't know, you probably.
I mean, you have to love the game, but some people, there's a few select. I've heard about athletes that do it for the money, just because it's a good payday. It's like any other job. Like they're not madly in love with the sport.
How are
but
you
they
gonna
just do it?
How are you going to put yourself through that very, very.
What do you
What's-
mean, very,
what's-
very? Like, just pick any person in the
Well,
world who has
you
to do a
gotta
job
at
they
least
don't
have
like.
talent for it. At least have talent
Yeah,
for
yeah,
it.
for
Like
sure.
you're not gonna put yourself through that process. It's a painful process to be. It's not easy to be a professional athlete.
It's not easy
And-
to be a professional anything. You show up for a job you hate. Oh my God, it's grueling. It's like
But I mean the
ripping
impact and the
nails.
pressure that it has on your body physically. You know, you gotta at least have some sort of talent for it. You know,
yes.
in order to decide, like, okay, I'm gonna do this for a living. Of course, you can glamorize or you can dream about doing something for the fame or the money, but I don't think that's the main motivation for athletes. I think they're really passionate about the game.
Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
the ones that only do it for the money, I think they're either lucky that they were able to get there just because of that motivation, or I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't. I don't see. I mean, from the athletes that I've met before, you know, like they're really into the game. They're really.
Yeah, I'm not denying that.
I think
like,
they're not. I think those are the exception. You know, like those
Yeah,
are.
I would
They're not
agree.
the rule.
I would agree, because it
The
takes
great
so much
majority,
work.
like they're really like we see Cristiano Ronaldo freaking crying his ass off after losing a World Cup game because he knows that's his last World Cup, and
Yeah.
he's passionate about the game. No athlete that gets to that level only does it for the fame or the money. I don't believe that for a second. I don't believe that. That would be sad if I found out that Cristiano Ronaldo did everything that he did
He has enough money.
just for the money.
No, it's the love of the game. It's the love of the of making a statement in history and the history of the sport.
Legacy.
Yeah,
And not just that, it's just like his legacy will mean something for the world. It's like Kobe Bryant,
hmm
the legacy he left behind.
or MJ.
Yeah, Michael Jordan, you know, like those guys are something, man. They're like they got this spirit that is unbreakable, you know. They this indomitable spirit. Like no matter what gets in my way, I'm gonna get the shit done.
Yeah, it's the work ethic that goes behind it.
The work ethic,
Like
yeah,
the
but
Tom Brady's of the world.
takes
and
some
the
balls,
Michael
man.
Jordans of the world.
it takes
the
some ball. I don't know if
Cristianos.
that's like something that they're born with, or at some point a switch turns and they're like, oh, fuck, I have to do this. And you just force yourself to have the discipline, or if like an obsession emerges, and you
Hmm.
have to do that every
Yeah.
day. Like, I don't know what motivates those guys, because it's really hard to have that sort of like iron discipline
Hmm.
to do
The
what
Iron
those guys
Monk,
do.
the Iron Monk discipline.
Iron Mike. Yeah.
No, for sure. Like it's funny. Like now we mentioned, where does that discipline come from? I feel like if you hear Henry speak about
Oh
Cristiano when
yeah.
he went to Manchester, he's like Cristiano came to Manchester as a good player, great player, but he left as the best player in the world.
Yeah.
You know, he kind of got into this. He put his mind to the fact that I want to be the best. I want to be the best. I have to outwork everybody. If you hear Kobe Bryant talking about the sport, he's all about putting those hours, extra hours that nobody else is putting, and separating himself from the pack by adding, if work is if talent equals work and work equals just the amount of quality hours that you put in, I think Kobe in his era separated himself so much from the rest of everybody else because he just added hours daily. Like if you work 2 hours a day extra from everybody else, after a week you have 10 hours. After 10 weeks you have 100 hours.
Yeah.
After 50 weeks you have 500 hours. After
You
a
become
few
a master.
years,
You become a master.
you're separated from your pack, and even though there's not enough hours in the day for people to catch up to you, so it's kind of like keeping that discipline and having those very, very clear and straight goals in your mind.
It's pretty much like a game. You just advance
The
levels.
game of life.
Well, it is. You keep advancing certain levels, and at each level, you see something different. You see the game in a different way, and that's when the greatness emerges. Some people that are really making the difference, like Senna, for example, in Formula One,
Ayrton Senna.
Ayrton Senna. It took his life to change the game, but he was the guy that was advancing so many levels. He was so above everybody else, but he kept calling out for the safety of the sport.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he kept standing up in the meetings and say, "This is not safe." Watch his documentary; it's amazing. But the guy knew everything about the sport, every aspect of the car. He knew mechanics. He knew.
You have to.
He knew everything.
You
The
have to.
aerodynamics. He wasn't just a driver.
I don't think the top at that level F1 they all know about car.
But he knew everything. Like that guy was fantastic. Just
Yeah.
it's a brilliant mind. And he kept mentioning about the safety of the sport, and nothing was being done. After he died, a lot of changes were made in the sport, and they made the sport more safe. You
I think
watch his
they-
documentary; it explains that aspect of it.
Yeah. I've
Yeah.
watched a documentary on the topic and
But
how
he just a strong-minded person, very disciplined, very knowledgeable, very Why do you laugh?
I laugh because I'm rewatching in my brain. You're talking about Senna, and I remember clearly this one time that he was gonna be world champion if some other guy didn't finish, and then in the first turn he crashed to the car against the guy, and
Oh,
then
really?
in the press conference he came out and said, "I had to go for that space, even though that space wasn't there, and if you don't think like that, you don't belong here. You don't belong in the elite. Like the day that I don't look for the space, that even if the space is not there, then I have no business being here."
Tunnel
And
vision, man.
So what he's saying, in other words, is like, I'm gonna go there, and you will have to get out of the way because I'm not gonna change. It's like a mind game, and if you don't change, we both crash and I win. So it's up to you. You choose. He's putting the onus of the choice in the other side.
I mean,
And it's a hilarious choice because he should not have done that. It's like me, I'm gonna cut you in the corner so you don't pass, but I'm gonna keep going straight because you should have given me the inside pass because of you knew I was gonna crash into, so it's your choice.
You should have known that was my only option.
Exactly, and I was never gonna back down.
Well,
I was
it's
never gonna back down. So you didn't give it to me. So this is on you for me crashing into you.
That's
It's
interesting.
hilarious.
I mean, it's a mindset.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what separates the greatest athletes of all times from the rest. And I saw Will Smith saying something. I'm just kidding. Will Smith saying something
should slap your
similar to that
enemies.
idea in an interview one time. He's like, if we're both getting on a treadmill, treadmill, not threadmill, in a treadmill, you're either getting off first or I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die on that treadmill.
Right.
You're not gonna beat me. My hard work, my discipline is so freaking strong that nothing's gonna beat me. No, there's no talent in the world. I'm the strongest person in the room. That, so it kind of follows that idea that I'm gonna do whatever is necessary for me to be the greatest. Now there's a lot of other elements that that go into play, like luck, for example.
Luck?
Yeah, there's an element to the game, luck.
Yeah, but you can't say that now there's luck. The luck's always been there in a way.
Yeah. I mean, well, but it is something that
they invented luck, and now you can count on luck to win.
You could call it luck, you could call it destiny, you could call it
serendipity.
Just the acaso. How do you say that?
Yeah, chance.
A chance. It happened by chance.
Like the rapper.
Like the ball that
skid off the leg.
Skid off.
We got. Remember when we lost that final game, and all the goals were deflections and like bad touches, and it was ours to lose, and we did lose it. We were up 2-0, and we lost 3-2.
You can only attribute that to luck or chance. You say like Brazil attacked the whole time. We had like, I don't know, like 20 different chances to seize the moment, and score more goals. Croatia had one chance and they seized the moment. They
100%.
seized that 100% accuracy.
That's what. That's
that
all
luck?
you need.
Is that chance? Is that bad luck? Or what is it?
Well, yeah. Sorry about that.
Is that one punch? That one punch, you get beat up the whole fight. Boom, 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 boom. But it's one punch,
you just got to Deontay Wilder.
It's like Jose Aldo against Conor McGregor.
Really? I don't remember that fight.
One punch, Conor McGregor knocked him out. After that, Jose Aldo was never the same. Seriously.
You mean psychologically? Or like physically?
I would say, I don't know if it was because of that fight or because it was already time for him to retire or whatever. After that fight, he was never the same. He pretty much retired after that. I don't know. I don't even know if he fights still. But it was something that was completely unexpected. One punch. 10 seconds into the fight.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
McGregor connected one punch. There goes Jose Aldo.
Hello everybody, and thank you for watching until the end. This has been Woke Wars, and I hope you liked our conversation. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, and drop a comment down below. Tell us what you'd like to hear us talk about next. Also, check out some of our other episodes. We post every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We will see you on the next one.